Hey, welcome back, and good morning or afternoon or whatever time you're watching this. Um, so this is going back to before we had the shutdown, and I don't know if you remember anything about the unit that we did, but we were looking at combustion. We lit some stuff on fire. It was pretty cool, and we started to think about, well, what's happening when we were lighting that stuff on fire. Um, so for today, you're gonna need some stuff to light on fire. Please, 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 don't set your house on fire. Don't light up anything that's gonna get out of control. Just, I'm just gonna use a candle. Okay, so a candle. Maybe a tiny bit of hand sanitizer or rubbing alcohol. So if you're going to do this, I recommend doing it outside. But I just have a tiny bit of rubbing alcohol. A little bit is okay. And then, and so we know, and I have a gas stove, so you can watch the gas stove too. But if you have a lighter, that also is helpful. But we learned a lot of stuff about these fuels. So what do we learn? Well, when you set stuff on fire, we get some heat, but we also know that fuels are like a candle. So if I point here, candle is made up of different molecules. Or if I have gas burner like natural gas or methane, that's also another type of fuel. Or if I have alcohol, okay, so rubbing alcohol, that's another kind of fuel. And those fuels are made up of different atoms. And so we seek things in common. So we learn this stuff that these atoms are similar. And when we burn some of these things, we also get new substances, and that's called products. So we burn something. So you're gonna need, I have a candle here, and I'm gonna take this candle, just gonna light it, okay? So you have a candle, get it lit. Hang on a second. Okay, so we have a lit candle, and I'm just gonna put this here, kind of to so you can check it out. And if you have some sort of glass cover, this is just a Pyrex cover. Why don't you put it over it? We learned also that when you burn stuff, so we burn stuff. If I leave this, one thing you're gonna notice is you see something forming on top of it. Okay, so there is, let's see here. I don't know if you can see that, but they're inside there. You start seeing, well, there are a couple things happening. So number one, the candle went out. All right. What does the candle need that the candle goes out? The second thing you notice is that it starts making new things. This was a dry container beforehand, but now if you look at the inside of it, okay, there's some kind of fog inside there. So I'm gonna dry this off. Do this again with a different substance. This time I'm gonna take tiny bit. Please be super careful, or just use hand sanitizer. That's probably better. But if I take a tiny bit of rubbing alcohol, okay, so I'm gonna put this here. And if I light that on fire, now if I cover it up, look at it again. This is really easy to see. I don't know if you can see that now. Okay, but there is a lot of fog inside there. Okay, so the fog, where's that coming from? How is it being made? It wasn't there beforehand. This is totally dry. Where's that coming from? So that is water. Another thing you could try is if you have a gas stove. I have a gas stove here, but I'm going to take the stove here and I just have an empty pot. So you can see here, it's a totally empty pot. There's no water in it. I'm going to go ahead and, if you look at the bottom of this pot, I'm going to go ahead and turn this pot on. Okay, you notice that right there. What is that? That is condensation, okay? You can see here? That is water. Where did that water come from? It wasn't there beforehand. There's no water in the pot. Where's that water coming from? So every single time I burn something like this, it makes water. Where's that coming from? So that's the first question we looked at. And you should kind of know. I mean, we looked at this. But the second thing is there's another thing that's being made. And I don't have a test at home to do this. But if you remember, we looked at this indicator called bromothymol blue. And we put a little dish of this blue liquid underneath our candle by the ethanol and other things. And after a few minutes of uncovering it up, we saw that it changed from blue to yellow. And so that yellow tells us, it's an indicator that tells us that something new is made. And that something new was carbon dioxide. So we're also making carbon dioxide from this. And so the question now is, well, where's that carbon dioxide coming from? Where's the oxygen in carbon dioxide coming from? A lot of these things, these fuels that we use don't have oxygen in them. Where's that coming from? And then what's going on with these molecules, especially as we start thinking about the bonds in these molecules? What's going on to get this large change in energy? Where do we get this heat from? So that's our question for this unit.